And we're back. This time, X-Men 97. Holy. All right, guys, we're back with Geek Variants. We cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, X-Men 97's explosive fifth episode. Remember it. And look, I'm going to be a little selfish at this time. I'm going to start just because, well, first of all, if you haven't checked out the live stream, you heard my thoughts there. But if you haven't, hey, I'm here for you right now. Look, this show, from a novice perspective, it's got me in a chokehold. I was not expecting to be grabbed so sufficiently by a show that where my attention needs to be at any and all moments in time. That being said, I'm very invested in these relationships, how these characters are growing, how the mutants are evolving, what the state of their world is in, and why in the world Scott just can't get a grip on anything going on in his world whatsoever. We had the grow up in episode 1 and episode 2. Ever since then, it's been a drastic back downhill to where he's basically the bottom for all intents and purposes of the X-Men, throwing temper tantrums in front of the medium, acting out in front of his girl's cheating on him with Wolverine yet again. And on top of that, we're still having to deal with the fact that Rogue, Bishop, and Magneto are one of the most complicated things ongoing, and everyone just seems to be okay with it. Kind of like seems like a thruple situation for all intents and purposes, where everyone's just fighting over her and her ambitions. But then the rest of this episode happened as soon as you get comfortable. And as soon as we started getting comfortable, I'm going to toss it over to our X-Men expert, Tony, to talk about
You got it, Tony.
all things geek.
You got to fix that.
Yeah.
Fix that.
First of all, it's not Bishop. It's Gambit.
Happens all the time.
I know it does.
Emphasis on novice, folks. Emphasis
and it's
on
funny
novice.
you talking about being in you feel like you're in the chokehold when it's a show about people in spandex. I just want to put that out there. Something's not right with that statement. So pineapple. Look, all right, get back to the show. So let's start off with it started off as expected. Start off real slow, people it was like you said, it was centered around Gambit, Rogue, and Magneto. I feel like this was their episode. Like everybody has an episode. I think we could read it. Cyclops was one, Storm was one, and everybody had their own little outpouring of okay, this is what we're doing, and this was theirs. So it starts off with them going to Genosa, and for those who don't know, that's like the home base for mutes. That's what Magneto was going for before Asteroid M. It was Genosa. That's their paradise. And in fact, Gambit even makes the statements about how it has gotten better since it's been there. So that's letting us know that it has been a time jump from the last episode till now. This isn't like next week. This has been about 2-3 months, maybe we want to guess. And when they get there, they land, and to my shock, Madeline Pryor's there, and she's on the Council of Genosa, which I can't remember the actual name that they had in the books. It wasn't the Council of Genosha, it was Krakoa or something, I think. I'm about to check that. And you see the council is Madeline Pryor, is Emma Frost, is Sebastian Shaw. For those who don't know, those two were part of the Hellfire Club. We know Emma Frost's powers. Sebastian Shaw's powers is he can absorb energy blasts, and it makes him stronger. So if Bishop shoots him with some of his energy, he's going to make Sebastian stronger. You don't want to do that. And then you have Moira McTaggart. For those who don't know, that was one of Professor X's love interests, the Earth one. Later on in the comics, she does become a mutant. But I love how Emma made the comment of like who invited her, seeing how the tensions between mutants and humans are. And it shows that actually is on both sides. So they, Magneto does that, and then I know Will likes this. One of the favorite X-Men of all time pops in this Nightcrawler. Let me tell you something. I love how they use his powers because this is what he does. He teleports. And people don't know he can only teleport to somewhere he's been. He can't just randomly teleport somewhere. He has to have been there before so he can know what it looks like. So seeing him jumping around the screen, messing with Rogue, messing with Gambit, who you could tell they've known each other for a while, I think that was done. I think it was done pretty good. Um, so they're over Genosha, and then they go back, and then we get um the interview with Cyclops. And as Brent said, they're starting to do my boy wrong again. He was a badass in the first episode. Second episode, and now he's starting to come back to this little shell. But you could tell how he's trying to step forward and say, "I'm the field leader of the X-Men," even though Magneto might be the leader. I'm the field guy, and you could tell how he was still not over Madeline Pryor with multiple ways. But when they started asking him about the baby that he and Jean had, and he was like, "No, we never had a kid," he wasn't lying, but the reporter thought he was because, like she said, on the birth certificate it says Jean Grey, but we know it was Madeline Pryor. So he blows up, goes away. I like how she introduced the some of the interviews some of the other X Men, and so that's what they're doing now. Now we go back to Genosha, and they start showing. I want to say there was some X Factor because you saw Pixie, you saw I can't remember the little Glob. Right, that's the pink guy with the skeleton.
Pixie, multiple man was there. Freaking like
Multiple Man,
yeah, there was a couple of Banshees.
Dazzler was there, and if you look real closely out on the dance floor, Exodus was there. I saw him on my second watch, and for those that don't know, Exodus he was an acolyte of Magneto. He's Omega level guy, so he was there cutting the rug. So push come to shove, they out there having a good time. Magneto and Rogue have their little talk. He like be on council. She's like, I'm still torn between you and Gambit. Her and Gambit didn't have a talk. Then they shed tears, and it's like she's like, I can't touch you. He's like, that's fine, whatever. Now we're just friends. So apparently the love triangle has been broken. They get to the ball, and for the sharp-eyed people, right before those fireworks come off, if you watch that screen, the Watcher is standing there. And everybody knows, any Marvel head knows that whenever the Watcher shows up, it's about to go down. And what happens? Cable. Cable shows up. Madeline Pryor's like, "What? Who are you?" And then she looks at him, and she looks him in the eyes. And any parent knows, you know your kid. When she looks him in the eyes, that's when she realizes, "You're my son. I'm glad you made it." He's gone. Next thing you know, the trifold sentinel just starts blowing up everybody. I'm like, he's coming down, no remorse for killing anybody. He's just blasting them big puke green energy beams, and you see mutants running. They're disintegrating here, disintegrating there. Magneto Road look around like, oh, what's going on? They go outside and try to fight them. Start getting bodied, not understanding that this is the super sentinel. This ain't Master Mode. This is Master Mode's daddy. When you watch it, he's literally dropping full-size sentinels out of his body, and they look tiny compared to him. So they're fighting. Magneto's like, somebody has to go get the Morlock. He sends Gambit, and this is when I think Gambit shines, because a lot of people don't understand Gambit is actually badass. They just think of him as, the guy who likes Rogue. He charges cars, but then you see him fighting, and he's charging anything he's touching. He's throwing his cards. He's got his scarf. That scarf, the little scarf whiff. Oh, that was great. I love that. He gets down there. He destroys the Sentinel head, saves the Morlocks, get him back up, and right when he gets up top, boom, Magneto come flying by. Magneto just got bodied by the Sentinel, and Magneto is hurting. And anytime an Omega level mutant is hurting, you know it's serious. So now the Morlock's going over there. He's got his little magnetic force field up trying to hold the Sentinel blast off. Rogue and Gambit are like, oh, what we do? So Rogue is about to go and fly into the Sentinel. Magneto knows she can't beat him, so he holds her against the pole, which the power scaling right there kind of is agitated because she's stronger than that. But I understand for this instant, and they lock eyes, and next thing you know, it says Omega level mutant terminated. You don't see him die, So this is an assumption. I will say in the comics they did this before, where they said Magneto was dead, but he was actually saved, and it was with the Morlocks. So
It's
I
the
don't know if
Mutant Massacre storyline, right? Freaking
right, it means massacre. So I'm
is it-
like, can they be
Like
doing
they can't
this?
take
But
my
I
boy
don't
like
think
this.
so.
I just grew attached. Like, let's not do
I,
this.
this has been
I
in the making. This is
yeah, this has
1980,
been in making.
like
But I
freaking.
think he's going to be good. He's gonna, because you can't keep him in that little, spandex purple big M outfit forever. So he's gonna come back. He might come back as Joseph. That's the storyline they could go through. But here you see Rogue snap. She flying into the Sentinel. Gambit's looking at her. He knows she has to be stopped. So he gets on his motorcycle. And for those who notice, if you look at the details, the motorcycle is leaking gas. So that makes it even more powerful. So he's on his motorcycle. He charges up, knocks her out the way. Now he's like, okay, I got to save everybody over there. So now I can't have Magneto upstage me. I got to be the badass for this episode. So what does he do? He's running at this gigantic wicked sentinel, knowing he's overmatched. And what happens? He's up here lighting up stuff. Boom, boom, boom. He jumps, stab right in the side. And what the Sentinel does? He plays with him. And that's the major mistake for most bad guys. Stop playing with the good guys. Kill them and get it over with. This is your downfall. This
The
is your
villain trope
downfall
has to
every single
continue.
time. But it happens. So what it do? He's like, yeah, and I pull him, look in front of his head, and this is another thing I like about Gambit and how they explain his powers, that he doesn't have to touch. That's just what he prefers. He can use any part of his body to charge it. It's like Tope from Avatar. She uses her feet, hands, anything. It doesn't matter. So when that thing goes in his side, he's just like, he's smiling, and the next thing you know, pink, 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 pink. And I'm like, oh, he is about to do it. They cannot do Backhammer like this. I know they're not going to take two of my X-Men away from me already. And what happens? He's like, my name is Gambit. Remember it. Boom. I was like, oh, I wasn't
Technically,
ready.
this would be the third. They already took Aurora.
She's not dead. She's still here. So no.
I mean, look, this whole episode was just wild from the get go. Like this is one of the best episodes. Like this is absolutely fantastic with how they set up a story. They brought in the Mutant Massacre storyline. They actually gave Gambit a bit of redemption because in that original storyline, he was working with Sinister, right? He was doing all those. He was working with Sinister and it was all the Morlocks and so that to, kind of lure the X-Men in. So this is a nice little redemption arc for him from the comics. So I like that we saw that. I'm glad that we finally, he finally got the truth out of Rogue. She finally came clean about everything, so he could actually, make a decision as to what he needed to do. And he still cared about her. He said, "We'll just be friends, and I'll back off." That's what that, because he still loves her that much. He's like, whatever, it is what it is. And he even proved that when he threw that motorcycle at her to save her, to get her out of the way. He's like, no, like I don't want you dying for this, and that's why like that solidified him as like the mutant of the episode. Like this was his. This is all him setting everything up. Now, even with that being said, like this sets up for what are we gonna do about this particular master? And I can't remember what this thing is called. It's bugging the crap out of me. Like it's not Master Mold. Like what? I can't remember the name of what the giant.
I think they just call it Wicked Sentinel.
Yeah. So either way, freaking this sets up for, like I said at the beginning, like we're gonna keep losing X-Men as they freaking pretty much break them down to set up for either a new team to kind of be built from the ashes, so to speak, and kind of go from there. Because Wolverine and Jean, and gotta give props to Wolverine because he been wanting Jean. He been wanting Jean for a minute, and the fact is that he was, of sound mind, mature enough just to be like, yo, just call it a lapse of judgment and go talk to your man. So
that just means from now on, he can't mess with Jean. I don't want to hear nothing else from his mouth.
I don't trust him worth
I
a
don't
lick.
hear it.
He's Mr. Steal Your Girl. And literally, if you think about the transitive property, Wolverine has officially kissed Scott. So we can get that completely out of the way because you think probably
Multiple
5 minutes were lapsed in judgment there, just so everyone's clear. And apologies again to Gambit, the official hero of the episode.
And I also just want to say that I'm going, I have an unpopular opinion that Wolverine is overrated. and I don't understand the importance, but it is what it is.
I think he'll. I mean, I think everybody's going to get their episode again. Everybody's has Cyclops, Storm, Jean, Jubilee, Gambit. So it's like who's going to shine in the next episode? We don't know. We'll see. But again, this was off the chain. Out of all the episodes, where do you put this one?
Easily number one. For me, this was it.
Nah. Easily strong 2, 1A at best. I mean, you got to think of just with Cyclops and Storm alone. Is still, I mean, the glass tornado of death. That's Scott's superhero landing of the year still trumps.
In terms of impact, this trumps all.
In terms of impact,
because one, you lost Storm and you made Scott a badass.
And it's already been gone. All it took was 4 episodes.
Coming down. It's a strong push for 1. I'm still saying 1A at best.
Field general, field crybaby. That's it. Can't cry behind those glasses, big boy.
Well, now he's in charge again. So, and there have been issues in the comic where Scott goes more towards Magneto's thinking, which I'm thinking it might do, because remember at the couch he was like, "How many?" And you saw him.
He was like, right there.
He was like, "Okay, this ain't working." So, do we see the dark suit? Remember the dark suit? Cyclops that had a little bit more attitude to him. It was like, okay, we're not playing your games. We're gonna do this my way.
It's like cover the hair, seal off. He's just like,
yeah, it's just a solid headpiece. It's like a cowl, and it's like, ooh,
yeah, you'll like nice that one. Change of pace, considering the character was so cool early, and now every time he's on screen, I'm like, great, what's he gonna mess up now? He's just a walking time bomb.
Did y'all also catch the Easter egg with Rogue and Gambit when she said, "I can't feel you"? No. That's a throwback to WandaVision when she went to Vision and she said the exact same thing.
It's all connected. Because now we have the Watcher. Well, we still have Marvel's What If. Like Aurora's supposed to be in What If next season. So I'm just saying.
It's
building the right way.
Look, DeMaio apparently already came out, and I gotta make sure fact check all this. DeMaio's already came out and said that it's not connected to the MCU. It's not canon to the MCU.
Yes, it is.
So,
what if it's not connected to the MCU, so it could be connected to that verse?
It could be connected to the animated, the What If. It can be connected there probably, so that possibly depending on how they want to run it, and so that they can kind of keep it separate over here. But we know the What If still has somewhat of a connection to the actual MCU. So
it's not connected to the MCU, but it's connected to 616. I don't care what they say.
Oh,
it's connected to the 616.
So yeah, we had a whole lot of faces in here. I'm just trying to see what are they going to set up? What are they bringing in? We've already got, other stuff
coming around. And the thing is, if again, something else that they reminded me of, if we remember when Rogue was holding Gambit, that's the same way Lois was holding Superman in the Death of Superman.
And just so we're all clear, we still haven't seen Doctor Strange pop in yet. So things can take a turn for the weird at any moment in time, because the Sorcerer Supreme will be able to change a lot of things ongoing that we have.
Cable can change it too.
Cable can.
Let's not forget, they still have Cable, Bishop, Nightcrawler can come join. They can replace the 3 that they lost.
Right now, in full faith of Marvel's animated department, right now they are kicking butt, taking names. I'm here for it. Y'all got me.
Time.
So, hey, is what it is. I still feel the way I feel about the original.
You have to give it another chance. You have to give it another chance.
Do we have any final thoughts here on X-Men 97's episode 5?
I'm just waiting for Phoenix to show up. She coming back.
I will say that I like that they verified that it was Jean Grey that was Phoenix and not Madeline Pryor, because there's a lot of people that were confused on that timeline. I mean, I knew who it was because if we go by the timeline, Jean Grey was kidnapped by Sinister after Professor X died. I mean, that still doesn't change the fact that Iron Man sucks, but it does help lead to people understanding how these things are playing out.
Any final thoughts there, Will?
Nothing
Not
at
do it. Put that away.
all.
That being said, hit that lovely red subscribe button where we cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, and more. Shout out to my girl, Madeline Pryor. Thanks for coming back.
Stop it.